My final outcome is about Alzheimer's and forgotten memories. We were given the starting point of stories and I went through a series of experiments to end up with a project on Alzheimer's disease. I started off the theme of stories by looking at a photographer and artist called Thomas Allen. He cuts up books and creates 3D images using the paper. I tried recreating some of his ideas, but instead of using small sculptures, I decided to look at the use of light. I went into the darkroom and experimented with creating different shadows. I looked at some of his other work, where he underlined keywords in a book and photographed them, so I tried to recreate this as well. An idea that I had for the theme of stories was a granddad's childhood and what things were like for him when he was younger, using black and white photographs. Then photos of what things are like now with new technology, bright colours representing what things are like for a child nowadays. When I tried this project, I realised that I have no close family or friends that would be young enough to act as the grandchild. I decided to change my project to Alzheimer's disease. I kept with the theme of old people and thought of my great-nan who has Alzheimer's. I thought I could try to portray her blurred memories in a small book. I went to places where we had memories and places similar to events that happened in her life. I made these photographs blurred to show that she cannot properly remember most of the things that happened in her life. I researched a photographer called Charest Bellevue, whose mum was diagnosed with cancer, and he decided to photograph the personal changes to family life. I could not show the development of Alzheimer's on my great-nan, so I thought I would try to replicate some of her memories. I started by going to her care home to try to get some photos of her, but this was hard because she did not understand what I was telling her. I had to wait for the right moment to take as many photos as possible. I went to different places where we had memories, starting in Tuckton because that is the place where we had most memories. Whenever we would go out, it would almost always be to Tuckton. I wanted to get an old man to act as my great-granddad, but it was freezing outside so I couldn't find anyone to use. I then moved on to Christchurch where it was a bit warmer, so I had more people to choose from. I wanted the image to look like there was something missing, so I asked a man to look out to the water. I put the photo of my great-nan at the top of my board because she is the main subject of the project, and I put the photograph next to it because it has slightly lighter colours so it's not a distraction. I spaced them out because I wanted to make the centre of the board look simple to contrast with the complex border. I made my book look light brown to make it stand out from the rest of the board rather than a plain black book which would just blend in. I used the border because I wanted to keep the focus on my photographs rather than the white space. I didn't want the board to have a feeling of emptiness. I cut up some of my images to make the border so that I didn't overwhelm the rest of the board. It also shows the cut-up memories and confusion caused by Alzheimer's. I think that my project went well, but next time I will try to manage my time better and make sure that I have all my work completed rather than leave little bits at the end.